and greetings, all you lovely, lovely mythics. Yes, my name is Ken Boyter. This is Edra Tales. This is Gruckle Snook from Bottled Imp. He's drunk already. You alright, mate? Yes, we are back. It is another Saturday morning, 10 AM, there or thereabouts, UK time. How is everybody? Hopefully you've had a lovely week. And hopefully, if you saw our live stream of League of Thieves, you would have seen me on the Wednesday. Try not to fall asleep. Didn't sleep until 4 AM. Wow, that is fantastic. Why was that then? Not fantastic as in fantastical. Why did you not fall asleep, Moth? Was it too hot? Was it too hot? Because it's been very hot, although I know you're in Norway, so maybe it's not as hot. But it's quite humid here in the UK, so a lot of people obviously, you know, they can struggle with falling asleep when it's hot. In fact, I forgot to put my fan on. I'm going to just put my fan on. Bear with me 1 second. Hopefully you won't be able to hear it either. Let's just get the fan on. I'll also get this, which is League of Gentlemen. Not League of Gentlemen. I knew that was going to happen. Oh, what's happened? What's happened to my fan? It's not working anymore. There it is. Right. Sorry, I'm not on screen. Oh no. Here it is. That's the book I was talking about. Every Wednesday, 6:30, we do a live stream of this. It's a game book where you choose how the story unfolds. So we do 3 live streams a week. One is today, 10 AM. One is Wednesday, 6:30. That's when we do a game book playthrough. And also Friday, 7 PM UK time. These are all UK times. Where we do a video playthrough, drive-through. No, that's GTA. We are doing The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Hello, Sally. Hello. Full moon. Oh, okay. Strawberry moon and loads of other energy in the air. Wow, yes. And Dylan's back. How are you, Dylan? How's it going? Thanks for joining us. Hopefully all is well in your world. Yeah, we're getting the band back together. It's always nice if someone hasn't been watching for a good couple of episodes, but then they show back up again. Alex Smith, or Brutal Barracuda, as his moniker is, as he's known as. He sometimes pops back up again. It's like, hey. So there you go. So how is everybody? Hopefully everybody's had a lovely week. I've had quite a good week in terms of creative projects. Managed to kind of progress with some of them, or one in particular anyway. Hi Martha, hi Sally. Here we go. Get all the pleasantries, done. Done. But yeah, so we've been playing this. This is really enjoyable actually, the game book, and it is kind of inspiring me to continue with my game book as well. Not that I wasn't going to continue with it, but I've as always, other projects seem to crop up, and I sort of get a bit distracted. So the focus now will be to do my game book. Sitting here, yawning, not much creative stuff done. Tired all week to come up with an escape plan for my D&D character. I don't want to lose him. Oh no, that is gutting. I guess the thing is though, Martha, I've just had a thought actually, with D&D, even if your character dies in one campaign, surely if you start a new campaign you can just use the same character and just, take it back to level 1 again. Surely you could do that and just say, look, I'm just going to do this. Or change its name and say it's their brother or it's their sister. They're identical twins. So you don't have to change anything, you just literally change the name. Because that would be a good way of getting around it. Because I know what you mean, you get quite attached to characters. Apparently though, that in the first edition and the second editions of D&D, maybe even the third edition, the characters would just die quite a lot. And so when you played D&D back in the early day, you'd have, say, 2 or 3 characters, maybe 4 characters lined up ready to go for a campaign. So, because I remember when I played D&D,
and I joined at the 4th edition, and a DM who had been doing it for 20 odd years, 30 odd years, he said, it makes me laugh how, you know, people nowadays get really attached to their characters. And it's like, yeah, because he said back in the day you wouldn't. You would just sort of go, right, that's that. Oh, and my character's now dead. Right, okay, we have another character all ready to go. So it's just interesting, isn't it, how things develop and things change and things move on. Not necessarily people like the change, you know, because some people might prefer the old set of rules of D&D. And it's like anything, you know, Talisman, who I really love. I love Talisman. They've just had a 5th edition, and to me, from what I hear, I haven't looked at it properly, I don't think I'm going to be playing the 5th edition, because they've tweaked stuff, and I kind of get it, they've streamlined it and things like that, but they've changed it, bits I really liked a bit. You think, no, why have you changed that? And also, I'm not a big fan of that artwork, and the design of it just doesn't really fit, whereas the Fighting Fantasy one, the Fantasy Flight edition, 4th edition, is just, for me, perfect. Cheat like a cheater who likes to cheat. Yeah, exactly. You know, it all depends on your DM as well, how flexible they are. The trouble is that he is only a child. I'm attached to him, and he asks from DM not to something TPK us. What's that? To be too difficult on us. Right, yeah, no, that's fair enough, Martha. I get it, because I got attached to my D&D characters. However, you just have to just go, well, you know, sometimes part of the nature of D&D is that your character can die. And it is, and I guess that's, you know, part of the... Good morning, Jonathan. Thank you for joining us. Just talking about D&D, and we're talking about how you can get attached to characters. But then I was also talking about how the development of each edition can change the rule set to modify the game, to then some fans might not like it, and then other fans, you know, especially if they're new to that edition, they don't know of the old editions. TPK is total party kill. Oh, okay, my character is a 65-year half-dwarf bartender. Fantastic. Use bribery, yeah. Yeah, you can always bribe DMs. So just saying about the 5th edition Talisman, to me, from what I've seen of it, it doesn't appeal to me. The artwork doesn't grab me. The design of the board, because they've got lots of white spaces around it, that doesn't feel right. And then they've changed the perspective, I think, of the board, of the drawing as well. I think, I'm not sure. And again, it doesn't seem to fit right. But then, you know, I'm used to the 4th edition. Well, I was used to the 1st and 2nd edition. But I think Fantasy Flight, when they updated it, Talisman, they improved it. They took what was already existing and still improved it. So yes, it still took hours to play, but then, you know, that's part of the fun with Talisman. You don't crack open Talisman lightly. You don't go, oh, what should we do? It's a rainy day. Oh, should we play Talisman? That doesn't. You tend to have to plan Talisman because it can take 3 or 4 hours. So you make a day of it. It's an event game. I mean, you could crack it open, you know, if you know you've got a whole day free. But, you know, so whereas they've, you know, tried to speed it up a bit, which is fair enough, and we kind of play that. We do house rules, but for the toad, you only miss 1 turn. You're only the toad for 1 turn, which hardly seems worth it. Plus, you don't lose everything, or, you know, they've softened it. So it's like, yeah, but that was for fun. It was brutal. If you got turned into a toad, it was brutal. You lost all your stuff. All your stats are on 1. You're a toad for 3 turns. You can only move 1 square. That's the one space. You know, that's the brutality of it. This is my plan. Baked goods. Hopefully does the trick from scratch. I like your plan, Martha. I like your plan. Accidentally knocked the board over. Yeah, oops, the board's just been knocked over. Oops. I remember we played like a 3 or 4 hour game. Bearing in mind this was with my son and my brother and his fiancée, and basically, and probably a girlfriend at the time. Had the board, it's a big board, had all the corner pieces, had all the cards laid out. You know, it was a big epic thing we were going to do. It was Tackle Day, it was brilliant. Have beers and snacks and pizza and all of that. Brilliant day. And there's a lot of cards in all the expansions. And I packed it all away. So again, just packing it away, it took me about 2 hours to set it up. Packing it all away takes about half an hour to an hour. So anyway, packing it all away. And then I put it all in the box, because I've got a big box. And then I dropped the box, basically, and everything just went all over the floor. It was like, oh no. Everything. So, which was a shame, because my son took a photo of me, like, with all the cards around my feet. And then he deleted the photo, and I really wanted to put that up, post that up. But anyway, there you go. So gaming mishaps. So it's interesting, the development of board games, like each edition, I guess when they look at it, they revise it after a number of years. I don't know if any game books, would you do that with any of your game books, Jonathan? Would you revise some of the plot or some of the characters if you were to do like a 10-year anniversary edition? Or would you go, no, that was what it was, that's, you know, locked in time, that's how it is? Would you change and update some of your game books? It's an interesting idea. When my mum, Dylan's put here, when my mum and brother, who were chess champions, wow, played, I would knock the pieces over with G.I. Joe. I'd like to think that was when you were like 6 years old, but I suspect it's like when you're 18 or 19, wasn't it, Dylan? No, but I would try to fix any bugs. Okay, fair enough, yeah. So it's the more mechanics you're trying to fix. Or obviously if there's any loops, if you've managed to create a dead end and nobody's discovered it, and then it gets published and then someone discovers it, and it's like, oops. Yeah, okay, that's fair enough. Yeah, you're trying to fix the bugs. You can't improve on perfection. There you go, Sally. There you go, Jonathan. Get a room. And I have done. Oh, okay. The latest printing of Alice's Nightmare in Wonderland is the best. Oh, well, there you go. So you can improve on perfection, apparently, according to Jonathan. All right, cool. So what you're saying is I've got a defective copy. That's what you're saying? No, I feel your pain because, well, as we're talking about game books, yeah, let's talk about game books. Yes, Devilish Dilemmas to Kill a Thief. That is the game book, what I am writing. And I totally get it if there's a bug in it. Totally get that, because it gets complex writing these, doesn't it? As you know, obviously. So that is hopefully now, that is going to be my main focus. There are things I would do differently now, even with the darkness over Arkham. Okay, but I would rather invest my time in writing new adventure. Yeah, and again, that's another good point. How much time do you put into something? Because you still have to, I hate to say it, but you still have to weigh up monetary aspects to this, because your time is money. That's how you generate money. So if you've spent 10 years writing a game book with only a potential sales of, 5,000 copies or however many copies you manage to sell, unless it goes into the millions, is that 10 years worth, that your time? I know that no one's really going to spend 10 years on a game book, but do you see what I'm trying to say? So there is like a bit of a finite amount of time that you really want to be spending on a game book, or on any project, really, unless it's a passion project and you really don't mind not making any money out of it. Because, so for example, that's a good point then. So for doing this game book, I'm very fortunate in the fact that I'm a graphic designer, so I can do all the typesetting, I can lay it all out, I can send it off to the printer, or, if it's, well, it is going to be kickstarted, so if it gets, funded, I'll send it off to the printer, I can do all the typesetting. I can also, I did this cover, so, I'm very fortunate that I can do covers and illustrate, and also I'm going to be illustrating the 20 or 30 illustrations inside, the black and white ones. I'm going to be doing lino cuts, because I've got access to a lino press, so I can do that. So a lot of what other people may have to pay someone, and therefore increasing the costs of the base book, the underlying costs it costs you to make the book, I can do myself. Sally proofreads for me and edits. You know, that's something that I sort of proofread, but I'm not the best speller and I get things wrong. I know, surprising. So Sally helps me out there. So basically, I've managed to keep all of those costs minimal. However, it's still my time. So, you know, I'd like to be rewarded for my time. Many authors do spend years writing their first novel. Then, after it's picked up, the publisher wants the next one within a year. Some people really struggle with that. Yeah, that's a good point as well. Absolutely. Oh, yeah, and it's Sally's time as well. Yeah, no, of course. I kind of meant, when I said me, I meant we. You know, that's implied, isn't it, everybody? I hate when I look at my artwork and see I didn't get right. Yeah, I know, Dylan. I know how you feel. But as Jonathan said, it's like, that's kind of what it is. It is what it is at the time. And you do your best at the time. And every time you do another illustration, for example, another drawing, or you write another game book, hopefully you're improving. Ken can't spell Ken. Exactly. Exactly, Dylan. Write the tune, theme. Yeah, you do have to write the theme tune. I imagine artwork, like stories, are never finished, only abandoned. Yeah. Absolutely. Because you could go back and go, oh, actually, I could tweak that a bit. I could add a bit more here. I could add a bit more. So you do. That's what I'm saying. There is a finite amount of time that you go, right, okay, I've just got to stop doing that. That is ready. That's as good as I kind of can get it now at the moment. I've just got to put it out there. Because otherwise, you know, I do think creating something, half of the process or a third of the process or whatever it is to you, is then other people enjoying it. You know, that to me is the finished article. You do something, but then I want people to read it or look at it or play it in terms, you know, if it's a game. And therefore, the complete process is when it gets out there into the audience, and then they can actually enjoy it like you've enjoyed it, basically, or not. If you find writing painful, like Douglas Adams apparently was famous for finding writing painful. So, yeah. So this is my dilemma. Yeah. So what do you think I should concentrate on next? It really should be the game book. I'm 100 entries into planning it. So on the, I've got my, here it is. I've got my, oh no, that's the new bit, yeah. So I've planned, where is it? You've all seen this before. I don't want to show it too much because, you know, that'll give the book away, but I've planned out the flow chart. This is 3 pages of flow charts. So this is kind of all the entries. There's a few modifications that I put in as well, obviously. A few corrections. And it's really cool. I'm really excited about it. It's really good because it feels like it's coming along. And then we're just tipped over into the 4th page. So that's where I'm at with the game book. So the next stage of the game book is to carry on with the flow chart, planning the whole book out. So it's probably going to be 400, maybe 500 entries. You know, it'll be nice to do 500, but if it's 400, then, you know, okay, it's the same as Fighting Fantasy. There's not a lot I can do about that because I don't really want to stretch the story if it's not warranted. You know, I kind of want it to be as tight as it can be for the player experience. So I'm aiming for 500. It might come up a little bit short. We'll see. So that is the next stage. Yeah, I look back on oldest ones that are very heavy colours, stand out with printed, and it bugs me. The skin colour looks dark. Yeah, I can get that. I mean, skin colour is difficult. It's difficult to get. I mean, illustrating realistically is really difficult, you know. Finish the game book, then something that is mostly complete. Oh, I like your advice there, Martha. Absolutely. I do need people like yourself and you guys. I do need you to keep me on track. Because, well, even recently after UK Games, I was just trying to get to UK Games because I had, as in get there, do it, and then relax, because I had so many projects on the go that were sort of needed deadlines, needed, you know, what's next? Oh, okay, it's my stage show because we've got a performance booked, right, okay, or, you know, rehearsed reading, you know, we've got a workshop booked. So I need to focus on that. So therefore, the game book took a back seat, and then it's like, well, I've actually got to get this. I wanted to get this sample ready because I had the book fair and I want to give them out at the book fair. So, you know, it's like, right, now I've got that deadline. Then obviously with the Crooked Crown, you know, the game, that was coming out at the UK Games Expo. So it was like, you know, I needed to get that done. I needed to kind of get all the publicity for that ready. We needed to, you know, do you see what I mean? So I had that building up in my head as well. Clone yourself. I know, I'd love to clone myself. Or would I? Or would I? That'd be interesting. Cloning yourself. Would that solve the problem? It would probably just duplicate it though, because if it's a clone, my other clone would be doing exactly the same, going, right, I'm going to do this project and I'm going to do that project. It's like, no. You stick into the ones I tell you to do. And the clone would be going, no, I've got this other idea that I can... So yeah, you kind of want a modified clone. You want a drone that just, like a worker bee, that just literally does what you ask it to do and doesn't then veer off. So yeah, because I've got that. Well, let me tell you about the projects I've got on the go. As you probably know, Crooked Crown's done. So I've got the game book. I've also got the murder mystery game that I've developed as well, called Devilish Deaths. Here's the board. So I've got this to develop. Have your monkey helper work harder. I know, exactly. Come on, get down. You'll get your bananas when you've finished writing the next chapter. Yeah, Inkpot monkeys. So I've got the game. Now I've got this prototype actually has been play tested. So Sally and her brother Pete and his wife Charlotte very kindly play tested it in Devon when we were on holiday. So I've done all the clues on the cards, you know. So got the clues, got the hunch tokens, got the forensics. You know, there's a lot of cards involved. But I think it'd be worth it. So a manufacturer might go, oh, there's a lot in there. However, this would be like a 30, 40, maybe even 50 quid game. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a manufacturer. Sally and her brother Pete and his wife Charlotte, they play tested it and they were really engrossed in it. It did take about 2.5, 3 hours to play, but I was quite happy with that because remember, these cases are one shot only. So if you're paying 30 quid, 40 quid, you want value for money. So I was thinking of maybe doing 3 cases in the base game, you know, because that's 3/6, that's 9 hours gameplay for 30 quid, 40 quid. I don't know what the manufacturer would sell it for, but anyway, so it's value for money. And also it was really good feedback. They really enjoyed it. They were engaged in the story. The mechanics of the game worked. That was my main concern. Do the mechanics work? Then secondary was, does the story work? Because I can tweak the story a lot easier than I can tweak the mechanics. So there was a few things I needed to tweak on the mechanics and a few things that I added in that I hadn't managed to get done in time, but I wanted them to play test it anyway because, you know, it's really the only time I could have play tested it with them. Dylan's, but I've started writing a grown-up Mary Poppins story. I plan to put out free as fan fiction because it's copyright. Nice one, Dylan. That's a great idea. I mean, Mary Poppins is really, really popular, isn't it? So I'm assuming it is out of... Is it out of copyright, though? Because it was a series of books, wasn't it? By Travis, not the band. Jonathan will know that. Well, unless you know, Dylan, or Martha, or anyone. Who wrote it? Is it T.P. Travistock or something like that? It was a woman, wasn't it, who wrote them? Are they actually still in copyright or not? Travers, yeah. There we go. I know Jonathan. He's just quickly Googled it. No, he knows. L.P. Travers. Because that could be as a good... If it's out of copyright, Jonathan, boom! There's your next game book. Oh, P.L. Travers. J.R. Hartley. In America, it's public domain, but nowhere else. Oh, is it? Oh, okay, interesting. Interesting. So, yeah, go for it. That's what I'm saying. If you're inspired by something that already exists, yeah, and you want to write it because you want to write it, absolutely. You know, not all of this has to make money. For me, I do want my projects to ultimately make money because I want to be doing my creative projects full time. You know, I do a little part-time job that's okay, but, you know, I'd rather spend more of my time doing my creative projects and my mediumship. You know, yeah, Jonathan's put, I have a very long list of Ace game books. Mary Poppins isn't one of them yet. It would be popular though, wouldn't it? Because everyone loves a bit of Mary Poppins. Core blimey. You could play Dick Van Dyke. Core blimey. What was his actual name? Charlie. Was it Charlie? No, it wasn't Charlie. Then he could do Bedknobs and Broomsticks. It would be practically perfect in every way. Exactly. You could even put that on the cover, and no one could. Fred, I think it was Fred. God blimey! No, it was Bert. It was Bert. That's it. Sally's got it. It was Bert. Yeah, Dylan's got it. Bert. God blimey! Gonna pick a bucket or two. That famous song from Mary Poppins. Yeah. So this, but the thing is with this prototype, this actual game that I've developed, it's pretty close to being finished. Yes, Fred pronounced Bert. Yeah, Fred. Try to sing the longest words. Oh yeah, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. It makes me quite atrocious. I don't know the lyrics from there on in. Try speaking Welsh, Martha. That's harder. That is a lot harder. Yeah, so it's good. I got good feedback from the Murder Mystery playtest. So what I need to do now is update further cards, because as you probably noticed, some of them are in handwriting, some are in type, and obviously if you then play something and it's in handwriting, you might think, was that relevant, or was that just a last minute thing that he's put in? So I need to print these off, and there's a number of cards that are like that, and I need to update the rules a little bit more. But then I am then looking for more play testers, so that is the next round of doing that. So I think what I'll do is pronounce, yeah, exactly, American Cockney. I'll concentrate on my game book. I also do want to get this prototype moving along as quickly as possible and play tested a number of times. Now, because it's a 3-hour game, finding people to play test it may be a little bit tricky. It might not be, but it might be, because you know you've really got to be it's got to be gamers, you know, people that are into the hobby, because if most of them spend 3 or 4 hours playing games, they don't bulk at the fact, oh, it's a 3-hour game. Whereas a lot of people that aren't into gaming, you know, they're just casually into gaming, they go, I'm not spending 3 hours on a board game. And you just say, well, have you played Monopoly recently? And you go, oh, yeah, it's about 3 hours. I want to, but I don't know how to, since we're in different countries. Yes, no, exactly, Martha. It's very kind of you. I've just had an idea, though, because a lot of companies, when you pitch them your games, a lot of them say, is it on Tabletop Simulator, which is an online, you know, exactly as it sounds, simulator of a board game. So I could actually, yeah, this could work on Tabletop Simulator because there's no hidden mechanisms. You're cooperatively working together. So if you're all on Discord, you know, to hear each other, or you're all on WhatsApp or Facebook, you know, you've got another way that you all can communicate with each other, which a lot of people do. A lot of companies use Discord to talk with, but then they're visually on their computers looking at tabletop simulators and playing the game. Then it should work, because what you're doing is you're basically moving your pieces around the board, and you're looking at cards, you're reading cards, and you're finding out information. And then when you have that card, you keep that card in your play area, and it's not a secret. So basically, the only way that it might not work on Tabletop Simulator. Jonathan, I don't know if you've had any experience with Tabletop Simulator. Okay, Martha's got Discord. Core blimey, Mary Poppins, so it is. Is that these are numbered and lettered, and then you don't read them in order. Okay, Jonathan's got no. Just no. But you don't read them in order, because if you move into a room, it might say, look at forensic, K. And that might be the first forensic that you've looked at. So you'd have to go through the deck. Now, it can be done on Tabletop Simulator. However, I'm not sure how easy it is, but I'll have to look into that. But yeah, so what I'll do though, what I think I will do is play test this a bit more in person, make sure it's all ironed out, everything's working, then build it up in Tabletop Simulator, ask a few more people to play test it. Martha, if you're up for play testing it, that'd be great. Is it a paid website? From what I look on Google, it's on Steam, which is paid. Yes, you do have to pay for it. It's a one-off cost of, I think, £15 in the UK. I don't know how much it would be in Norway. But it's great for designers because you can build your prototype virtually, and therefore, if we've used this. Kedrick and I have used this on multiple occasions with publishers that are overseas, America, Germany. We've actually play tested it via Discord and via Tabletop Simulator, which is great because otherwise they might not have looked at the game at all. Is there a frame? Why is there a frame? A scapegoat option. Oh, frame a scapegoat. Well, you get to guess, and you get to see if you're right or wrong, and if you're wrong, you do get to carry on. So you can actually just accuse someone, yeah. But it doesn't then give you consequences, no. Oh, I see. It's about 200 krona, and that's a bit expensive. Oh, well, sorry to hear that, Martha. Well, have a think about it. Obviously, I'm not forcing you to. If you wanted to and you thought it was worth it. But I will probably be putting it up on Tabletop Simulator. So, there you go. So that is one of the main projects that I would like to continue with and get completed this year. Police brutality option. Well, weirdly enough, I haven't got the police in it. It's set in the 1920s, and you all play cooperatively as amateur sleuths. So, and the way I fudged it is like there's a communication problems with the hotel to the police station. So that's why they're delayed. You get 24 hours to solve the case before the police arrive. Yeah, 200 krona is around 15 quid, yeah. That's right. Police corruption option, yeah. Corruption. I have got a bit of a bribery element I want to bring into it, so you can bribe people to sort of maybe give you information you might not have found otherwise, but I'm not sure if that's adding an extra layer of complexity into it that's not needed. But because ultimately you want the players to crack the case, but you want them to work for it, and so I've put a hint section in where you can there's 6, is it 6 or there's, yeah, I think there's 6 options in the 24-hour period. So each hour is a turn, each hour is a round, so every player has 1 turn per round, so you have 24 rounds, if you like, or 24 hours to solve the case. You have 6 options, 6 rounds that are sporadically paced throughout the 24 hours, where you cannot take your go. Everyone has to agree to this. Players don't take their turn, but they read the hint card, and the hint card is definitely fact. So if you take a hint card, you will know, right, that's fact, and that might actually contradict what a witness has said or what you think a clue is. So, but it costs you a go. So, and when we play tested it, I think they used 2 hints, possibly 3 hints. I think it was 2 hints, because they were like, well, it's a bit early on to use a hint just yet. And it's like, okay, fair enough. So, The Norwegian krona is very low at this point in time, at least according to some news stations. Oh, okay, fair enough. Jessica Fletcher framing innocent people to cover up serial killer nephew and granddad. Yeah, I've long suspected that was the case. That was the final episode, wasn't it, where she went to jail. So, yeah, so those are the two main projects, really, I do want to get complete this year. It'd be really nice if I managed to start pitching it around the murder mystery game, and then, you know, I found a publisher by the end of the year, because then, you know, it takes a year minimum, I think, for publishers to actually get the game into production and get it out there onto the shelves. So it's not a quick process. I mean, it took us a year, exactly a year, from when we signed the contract, well, when we agreed the contract verbally of the Crooked Crown. It took us a year to get this into production. And Paul from Cheatwell said that's actually quite a quick turnaround for us. So, but we did it. We did it. I mean, we helped them out. We sourced the artists. We, you know, checked the rules. We kind of did stuff that, as a designer, you don't necessarily have to do. You could just go, yeah, there you go. You know, over to you now. You're the manufacturer. You're the publisher. So, but you know, we wanted to help out. We wanted to make sure that, you know, it's the best it could possibly be. Not that we didn't trust them, but it just sped the process along, because, you know, because Paul would have had to source an artist, whereas he didn't have to do that bit. Kedrick and I did it. We dealt with the artist. We briefed the artist. You know, we dealt with the changes, and then we would show Paul final artwork, or what we would consider final artwork, and then he would then make tweaks accordingly. So, you know, it kind of worked like that. So we just sped up the process, basically. So yeah, so the game book and the game is something I do want to concentrate on. Also, I am concentrating on the stage show, the interactive stage show. It would be really, really cool if we managed to book the stage show in for UK Games next year. That would be amazing. In fact, Fighting Fantasy Fest. Oh my God, Jonathan, I've just thought. Is it too late now? It's probably too late. Because that is the perfect audience. An interactive stage show for them. It's too late for what? Well, Dave, my friend Dave and I are developing an interactive game book stage show. Would it be too late to perform it at the Fighting Fantasy Fest? I'm afraid all the talk slots. Yeah, take it. That's what I thought. Yeah, no worries. P-Profit. Yeah, no, we've had to change the name. I've changed the name. It's called Dragon Napped. Book it in for next year. Yeah, exactly. I think Jonathan does them every 2 years. You do them every 2 years, don't you? Oh, what a shame we didn't... Well, we didn't really know how until May time, when we actually did, or was it April, where we actually did a performance. At the moment, oh, that sounds promising. So this year, April, we did a workshop performance, like another workshop performance, and that was the one where we went, yeah, we're pretty much finished it. It's pretty much there. So we do still need to do a few more workshops to really nail it, which is what we're sort of sorting out at the moment. There is a little board game convention that I'm going to, run by Kedrick Winks, actually, and a few of his friends, near Scarborough, that I'm going to go to in November, and I'm going to ask Kedrick if he doesn't mind us, you know, we'll put it on if people want to watch it. It's only about an hour and a half max, so hopefully they'll say yes, and then Dave can come up and we'll perform it there. Might take a zones later. If I was in the audience, I would be taking the P, but I'm not a prophet. Hey! Yeah, well, the Curse of the Piss Prophet is still a project that I want to do, but it's a bold move. You have to, because advertising, venues might not want that word up on their wall. You know, it's a bold move. I'll have to look into that. But yeah, I do like that expression. It's good. So that's the sort of two main projects. But as I say, I do get sidetracked because I have developed a new game called, well, it was called Around the Garden. And it was a game for 5-year-olds, 5, 6, 7-year-olds. Very simplistic game. Very simplistic game. Using hexagonal tiles, you know, honeycomb hive sort of shapes. However, since developing it, this brings it back to full circle. Got to go in my decor. Thank you very much, Martha, for watching. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Is it purely luck based? Okay, it was purely luck based. Yes, because I didn't set out to design a 5-year-old game. No, a game for 5-year-olds or 6-year-olds. But the game basically was that there's a stack of these cards, and you take a card, and wherever the arrow is, you give that card to wherever that player is sitting. So diagonally left to you, you sit there. And people gather these cards, and the aim of the game is to be the person with the fewest points, and these are worth points. And so then there was an opportunity when you get a sunflower, again, randomly a sunflower comes up, and what happens is the sunflower, I bet there's not going to be a sunflower now, is there, in this one? Yeah, so a sunflower comes up, you get the chance to gather all the cards you've been given and distribute them out according to the arrow. So you're back down to 0. In fact, with a sunflower, you're minus 3 points. And that's the game. You just play that until the tiles finish. So it is pure luck, which, you know, for a 5-year-old, 6-year-old, that's fine. It's a family game, you know. However, thematically, it didn't quite work because I couldn't quite work out. So a player's flowers, and the bees are buzzing around, and why would you not want a bee to come to you if you're a flower? So thematically, I couldn't work it out. So talking it through Sally, and originally it was okay. So let me take you back a little bit further. Originally, it was called Pox, and players were witches cursing other players, hence why you're giving them the pox, you're giving them a hex. And so but then I thought, because it's such a simple game, I thought, oh well, that has to be for 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds. Then I thought, the theme of witches and poxes and giving out curses, I'm sure parents wouldn't want their kids doing that. So hence why I thought, oh okay, well, you know, passing out the cards is like bees flying around, hence why it was like, oh, it's bees. Yeah, the pox. So I changed it to bees to fit the 5-year-old age group, and then it didn't work thematically because it's like, well, why are you handing out cards to people if you're a sunflower trying to attract the bees? So I've changed it again. I've improved the game, I think, as well, and there's not as much luck in it, but there still is luck in it. So let me know what you think then. We'll quickly go through this. So, it's now Pox in a Pox. That's quite a good title, actually, Dylan. I like that. So now I've changed it to Players are Beekeepers. There's still one deck of cards. There's 7, well, there'll be like 100 odd cards, actually, over 100 cards. And what you do is, the aim of the game is to be the player with the most points. Yeah, good, because Snakes and Ladders is a terrible game because there is no strategy involved. It's purely luck. Yes, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. However, if it's a 5-year-old, they don't seem to mind that because they feel like they're doing something. Now, I know that's a poor excuse to say, oh, well, it's okay if it's pure luck. But it kind of is. But the problem is, how often will your game get played if it is pure luck? But weirdly enough, Snakes and Ladders still sells, so I don't know. It's kind of a conundrum, isn't it? So I've now changed it. So the aim of the game is to be the player with the most points. How do you get points? Well, you're a beekeeper. So you want to attract bees with your flowers. Venus flytrap, yeah, eat the bees. So what you do is you take a card, a tile. That's the luck part of it. So there is luck in it. If it's a bee card, if it's a sunflower card, or not a sunflower, if it's a flower card, you take the flower and you put it in your play area. If it's a bee card, then you take the bee and you put it onto your, you put it around your flower like that. So say that was a flower. Let me get a flower. Yeah. I bet I can't find one now, can I? Yeah. So you put it around your flower in any order. But it's a set collecting game. Can it be a Triffid? Yeah, that'd be good. That's the adult version. Ooh, Day of the Triffids. Is that out of copyright? So then what you could do is you could... Oh yeah, so you're collecting 6 bees to feed on your flower, get the nectar, to then create the honey. But they have to be different coloured bees. So this is the old artwork. So I've got different coloured bees with different points on them as well. So you collect 6 of them. When you've got 6 different coloured bees or different coloured tiles, you collect all them up and you put them in your play area to be scored later. And they score from 1 to 6. And that's basically the game. However, if you pick a... Oh yeah, there's also a rain card. So if you get a rain card, you can choose a player to discard all of any bees that are around an incomplete sunflower back to the hive. So there's a hive tile next to the deck. And you put all those bees into the hive because it's raining. They want to go back into shelter. I don't know if that's actually what bees do, but anyway. And then what you do is, if someone draws a new flower, they get to have all the bees from that hive and work out if they can put them around their new sunflower. So, and any that they can't, they put onto other flowers they have, or if they haven't got any other flowers or they can't fit any because there's duplicates of the same colour, they then choose another player to pass it on to. So you probably want to pass it on to somebody who's not doing very well, you know. So it's kind of like a catch-up mechanism. If you pick a bee card, though, and you haven't got any flowers, you pass it to the person who has got a flower that hasn't got that colour. So again, you're kind of helping someone out, but there's not a lot you can do about that, because bees are just going to attract to a flower that's already out there. If there's no flowers out in the game, so early on in the game, that might happen, it goes into the hive. And so again, they go into the hive and they come back out when a flower gets picked. And that is pretty much the game. Oh no, there's one more little thing, which is a bit of a disruptor. So, say I've got a sunflower, and then I pick a yellow, and I haven't got a yellow on this sunflower. I might have a blue, but I've not got a yellow. And the number is 3. That's fine. Say on my next go, I pick another yellow. Now I can't, but I can upgrade my scoring. So, for example, if that was a yellow 4 and that was a yellow 3, I could replace my yellow 3 and upgrade to a yellow 4, gaining 1 point. And you can do that from a 1 to a 6 as well. As long as the one you picked up was higher, so you're always constantly improving your score. So then what I would do, that bee gets shoved off the flower and looks for another flower, i.e. another player, pesticide. But I can only give that to a player that has a yellow on a sunflower, but is a higher number. So I'm upgrading my flower while sabotaging their flower by giving them the lower score. So I could only give that to somebody who had a yellow a yellow bee on their flower that was a 4, 5 or 6. So I give that to them, they have to take it. Then there's a 4, so say that was a 4. Then there was a 4 floating around. that goes to the another player who hasn't got a 4. Sorry, who has got a yellow, but is a 5 or a 6, because you're trying to get their score lower. And that keeps going. If you cannot place a bee, so if everyone's got, you know, higher numbers than the bee that's trying to settle on a flower, it goes back into the hive. Does that make sense? So it's a more complex game. There's still luck involved, but you do misbehaviour. Ooh, I like that, Dylan. Oh, misbehaviour. So we're looking for a title, actually, because the original title was Buzz. Then it went to Around the Garden. Now I've changed it to not Whiskey Galore, but to Honey Galore, which I quite like. But there's not a lot of honey actually in the game, so that's a bit of a placeholder. Misbehave. How about just call it Misbehave? Miss B as in B-E-E, have. Misbehave. Misbehave. No, that's getting too far from the pun. Misbehave is quite good because you're misbehaving. Their bees are misbehaving then. Dylan, I think you might have it, my friend. I think you might have the title. Can I have it? Can I have it? Let's say I came up with that idea. Shall we say that? It's on record. Heavy editing. Can we change the comment somehow? Yeah, that would be really good. MIS-BEE-have. Misbehave. Okay, so thank you, Dylan. I think if you don't mind, I would like to use that. That'd be great. So that's basically the game. So there is luck because you're drawing the tiles. However, you do have some way of scuppering other people because you upgrade your ones, and then if it's so ultimately you want 6s. You want all the different colours to have 6. But if you don't and you complete it, then you get 5 points for every flower completed, plus the face value points of each bee around it. Some flowers can be used multiple times. Any incomplete flowers, I keep calling them sunflowers because that was the original flowers, you get 1 point per bee still on that flower, but you don't get the 5 points for completing it. Sure. Oh, thank you very much. Love honey. That sounds a bit dodgy. Yeah, well, Honey Galore does sound like the character from the James Bond film Pussy Galore from Goldfinger. That wasn't my intention because there's that film Whiskey Galore, so it's kind of in my psyche anyway. But Honey Galore sounds quite good because there's loads of bees. There's, you're trying to get honey, but there's not actually honey in the game, so that's slightly for a massive share of the profit. Well, we got to sell it first. Well, how about this, Dylan? I will put your name as a credited person that came up with the title. How about that? We'll put it in the small print in the rules. How about that? Sounds good. And a free copy of the game, obviously. So that's my. Am I the brave or stupid telling people my ideas? Cool, good, okay, cool. So I do like that. Misbehave. I spent about 15-20 minutes walking from town to Sally's house because I was we changed the rules and that, and I was thinking, I've got to come up with the name. Whiskey, but Honey Galore. Okay, that's good. It's not quite right. Can I think of anything? And I was going, be this, be that, buzz around, buzz off, buzz it. And I'm thinking, no, I don't really want buzz in the title, right? And I couldn't think of it. So well done. There you go. The collective hive mind. There you go. So again, what I can do is I can put this prototype up onto Tabletop Simulator. In fact, I've not created a game yet in Tabletop Simulator because Kedrick has always dealt with that aspect of when we co-design games. So that one's a simpler game for me just to cut my teeth and work out how Tabletop Simulator works. Obviously, I can ask Kedrick for help, but you know, these things are never necessarily straightforward. And he says it's a little bit clunky, so I'll have to go through that learning process. And that's a less complicated game than, you know, my Devilish Deaths murder mystery. I'm sure she did, Dylan. I'm sure she did. Maybe we call it that. Little buzzards. You little buzzard. Little buzzards. So there we are. So I've got those 4 projects. You see what I'm saying? That's 4 projects I've got on the go at the moment. My murder mystery game, the game book, my interactive stage show, plus, yeah, that now game that's out there, plus my other party game called Those People, which again I've made changes to. I kind of know how I'm going to change that. Too many projects. Plus I've got my novel, my prose novel of the Legends of Grimace Ironblood. But I want to finish that for next year, release that in May next year, and then a game book again in October. So I guess the main 2 projects then really should be my game book and the board game, Devilish Deaths. Those are my main projects, and the others are side projects. There we go. So thank you so much for watching. It's coming up for an hour now. What's the time? Yeah, it's 11 o'clock. Thank you so much. That's why I like chatting to you guys, because, you know, you come up with all my ideas. No, not that at all. No, but it's great chatting stuff through, because sometimes, as you know, Dylan and people that create, Jonathan, Jam, anyone that's watching that's creative, you can get really close to something, so you don't always, you need to step back occasionally and just not work on it. And you go back fresh and you go, oh, what was I thinking? Or, oh, that actually really does work. That really stands up. Brainstorming is also brainstorming as well. Yeah, absolutely. Bouncing ideas off each other, you know, as a sounding board. Running ideas past each other is actually really useful. But obviously you've got to bear in mind who it is that you're talking to and running the idea by. But it's good to get various different opinions on things. Even if somebody's not into something as much as you or as much as your other friend that you've asked, sometimes it can still help and still benefit because they'll be coming at it at a slightly different angle, won't they? So there we go. So thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate that. And yeah, I will look forward to Wednesday evening. League of Thieves is the game book that we're currently playing through. Part 3 is coming up. It's been relatively brutal so far. We almost died again. We've got 2 life points, I think, and with no opportunity yet to gain any more life points. We've already lost a life. We lost a life in the first session, which was very brutal. However, we're on it now. We are trying to rescue our friend Kit from a mysterious, shadowy person who has just... We've had an encounter with him, which is quite frightening. And he's just told... We said, what's your name? He said, well, you can call me Grey Cloak. And that's all we know. We do suspect he's part of the Assassin's Guild. So that, you know... Cheat. We never cheat. We never cheat. So thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Have a lovely rest of the day. Have a lovely week. So if you are about Wednesday 6:30, come and join in the fun. It's on this channel, the Edra Tales Twitch channel. But don't worry, if you do miss it and you want to watch it later, it will still be on the Twitch channel. Plus, I export them over to YouTube on the Edra Tales YouTube channel as well. So thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Dylan, and thank you for your contribution. Much appreciate it. No, seriously, that's a great title, so I really, really appreciate that. Thank you, Jonathan, as always. Thank you, Martha. Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Jam. Thank you to anyone else that was watching but didn't comment. Look at that. The music's right into the climax. The other live stream that we do every week is Friday evenings, 7 p.m. UK time. We are live streaming The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, although I can't make this Friday because I've got a murder mystery on a Friday. Thank you so much. Yes, Sally, have a lovely week as well, everybody else. Take care, and remember, may the magic of stories flow through you always.